The next thing I want to discuss is the turn overbet probe. This is a 3x pot probe, and the AI decided to choose this itself. I just said come up with the sizing for when this same texture button versus big blind goes check, check. And the AI decided 3x pot was a good sizing to lead on the 4 of clubs turn after big blind check the flop and button check back. So big blind here is going hyperpolar. They're leading out with a lot of stuff, and it makes perfect sense that they would want to do that, because this time when you look at ranges, it's the big blind range that's the leader here. It's obvious when you see it, right, that your value hands want to shovel a lot of money into the pot. You have a nut advantage, but not a range advantage. So what are you finding here? You might be finding 10-9, you might be finding 9-6, open-enders, flush draws, etc. What are you not finding? Well, ace-5. You're probably not finding that. Ace-6. These lower equity ones. I'm not saying you need to go 3x pot here, by the way. I know that's a bit uncomfortable for a human, right? Especially one that's never really used too much overbetting in their strategy. But if there's a spot to get overbetting into your game, like for the first time, it's definitely turn probing, because this is the situation where you are just simply building around a nutted region a lot of the time, where you don't really want to or need to bet lower pairs, unless it's a very low wet board for you, like, I don't know, 8-7, 5-3. You can do a lot of 1/3ing and half potting. You have a lot more high EV vulnerable pairs on that sort of texture. But as soon as there's a big card out there, like a king, a queen, an ace, etc., you're just going to want to build around a more nutted range. And that involves finding the bluffs, finding the value. So yeah, turn probing, very important thing. Get the overbets into your game. This is a good way to get acquainted with overbetting in a very sort of safe and natural spot for it, where it can't really be wrong as long as you do it with the right hands. The next thing is finding big check raises against delayed c-bets. So we can actually take the very same spot here, but this time say that we went for a check and button went for something like b75, which is a normal sizing to use after flop has gone check check. They're a bit more capped now. They don't have an absolute nut advantage anymore. They do still have a lot of EV and they want to do a lot of betting, but we still have the nut advantage here. As long as we build our range in a protected way, we can slow play nutted hands here. So you'll notice that we do get here with a bit of 6-5. And we check raise that hand. And when we check raise here, we go absolutely huge. Because let's face it, we have a lot of lost ground to make up. The pot has remained quite small. Now that we're reopening out of position, you know, like we're handing it back to villain to do some 3-betting if they want to. They'll do very little. But we don't really want to be doing that thinly. We also don't have like tons of nutted hands in our range. We want to check raise pretty sparingly here, and we want to do it really nutted and with some decent equity semi-bluffs. The standards now for what we need to bluff are higher. You'll notice that we don't do this with ace-6 anymore, or anything like that, or king-5, or sorry, that's a pair, but with a 5, a naked gut shot or something. We're more around the sort of combo draw, pair plus draw, bottom pair and redraw, flush draw vicinity, a lot of 4x blocker, blocking the thing that just got there on the turn, the newly nutted thing that villain checked back on flop, then hit the nuts on turn with, aka pocket 4s or king 4, is very important on these nodes. And so building this gargantuan, colossal, whatever you want to call it, giant raise here is very good for your poker brain, because you're understanding that you have this region of your range. It's like, hey, this pot's far too small for me. Like when you get here with 5-6, 5-6 is like, ugh. Wait a minute. What am I doing in this tiny pot, man? This isn't right, man. I got to check raise big, man. And it's check raising big. So, oh, I got like really Scottish there for a second. So these hands need to do that. They need to make up for that lost ground, get that giant check raise into your game. You do have to be a bit fussier about the blockers and the equity you do it with now. But yeah, really cool tool to throw in there. By the way,